In a lively village by the riverbank, two girls, Lami and Ada, were known for their unbreakable friendship. From the moment they could walk, they were inseparable. Whether fetching water from the stream, dancing during village festivals, or whispering secrets under the moonlight, they were always together. Lami, with her quick wit and clever ideas, often found solutions to any problem, while Ada, with her beauty and gentle heart, brought smiles wherever she went. As they grew older, their lives began to change. Ada's charm caught the attention of King Obi, the young and respected ruler of the land. He was strong, with a voice that commanded respect and eyes that held warmth. When he saw Ada one day during a village celebration, his heart was captured. Without delay, he went to her family and asked for her hand in marriage. Lami watched all of this unfold with a forced smile. She told herself she was happy for Ada, but deep down she felt something different. Every time she saw Ada wearing her royal robes, walking hand in hand with King Obi, or laughing with her new husband, Lami felt a twist of envy. One day, Ada visited Lami in the small hut where she lived. "Lami, you must come and visit the palace more often," Ada said, her eyes sparkling. "It feels so empty without you." Lami forced a smile. "I will try," she said, though her heart burned with jealousy. As days turned into weeks, Lami's envy grew. She began to avoid Ada, pretending to be busy with work. But in truth, she couldn't bear to see her friend's happiness anymore. One night, as she lay in bed, a dark thought crept into her mind. "Why should Ada has everything?" Lami whispered to herself. "If she were gone, I could take her place as queen." The thought refused to leave her, growing stronger with each passing day until she decided to act. She remembered the stories of a powerful old woman who lived deep in the forest. It was said that this woman could cast spells and grant wishes for a price. Lami didn't care about the cost. She was willing to do anything. Early one morning, before the sun rose, she left her hut and made her way into the forest. The trees were thick, their branches blocking out the sky. Strange noises surrounded her. The hoot of an owl, the rustle of leaves, the distant growl of an animal. But she pressed on, determined to find the old woman. After hours of walking, she finally saw a small hut made of sticks and leaves. Smoke curled from the chimney, and a strange smell filled the air. Lami's heart raced as she stepped closer. The old woman was sitting outside, stirring a pot of bubbling green liquid. She had long, tangled hair and eyes that seemed to see right through Lami. "What brings you here, child?" the old woman asked in a voice that was both gentle and sharp. Lami hesitated for a moment, then said, "I want my friend gone. I want to take her place as queen." The old woman raised an eyebrow. "That is a dark wish," she said. "Are you ready for the consequences?" "Yes," Lami said without hesitation. "I'll do whatever it takes." The old woman smiled, revealing her crooked teeth. She reached into her hut and brought out a small bottle filled with green liquid. "Give this to your friend," she said. "It will turn her into something harmless, something no one will ever think about again." "What will it turn her into?" Lami asked, her voice trembling with excitement. The old woman's smile widened. "A fish," she said. "She will live in the river, far from the palace. No one will know." Lami took the bottle and rushed back to the village, her hands trembling as she hid it in her bag. She waited for the right moment, and a few days later, when Ada came to visit her, Lami saw her chance. "I made something special for you," she said. Lami said, holding out a wooden cup filled with the green liquid. "It's a drink to give you strength and keep you happy." Ah smiled warmly. "Thank you, Lami. You're such a good friend." She drank the liquid without hesitation. The change was instant. Ada's body began to shrink. Her arms disappeared and her legs turned into a long, scaly tail before Lamy's eyes. Ada transformed into a small, golden fish. Lamy picked up the fish and stared at it goodbye. "Ada," she whispered. She carried the fish to the river and threw it in. "Now King Obi will forget about you and I will take your place." Days passed after Ada's disappearance, and the palace was filled with confusion. Was loved by everyone, from the servants to the villagers, who saw her as a queen with a kind and giving heart when she vanished. Without a trace, King Obi sent search parties across the land, but no one could find her. King Obi grew restless. He tried everything by his powers to look for his beloved wife, but all to no avail. Each night when he finally managed to sleep, dreams haunted him. In his dreams, he saw Ada standing at the riverbank. Her face was sad and her voice echoed in his ears, calling his name. "Obi, I am here. I need your help." The dreams became more vivid with each passing night, and soon King Obi was convinced they were more than just dreams. He believed was trying to reach him. Lamy continued her life as though nothing had happened. She visited the palace, often pretending to help King Obi in his grief. "My king," Lamy said one day as they sat in the garden, "I know you miss Ada, but life must go on. The villagers need a strong leader. I can help you." Her words were sweet, but her heart was filled with deceit. Obi sighed deeply. His once bright eyes had grown with sadness. Was my light. Lamy, without her, the palace feels empty. Lamy's stomach churned with frustration, no matter how kind or attentive she pretended to be. Obi's heart remained closed to her. He treated her as a loyal friend. Nothing more. Weeks turned into months and whispers spread across the village. Some people believed had run away, while others suspected foul play. One night, Lamy sat in her hut, staring into the flickering light of a candle. "Why does he still think of her?" she muttered. "Is gone. I should be the queen by now." Suddenly an idea came to her mind. If her kindness couldn't win Obi's heart, maybe magic could. She remembered the old woman in the forest, the one who had given her the potion to turn ash into a fish. If the old woman could make Aya disappear, surely she could make Obi fall in love at the break of dawn. Lamy set off for the forest. The trees loomed tall and dark, their branches twisting like bony fingers. The path was silent, save for the crunch of leaves under her feet when she reached the old woman's hut. Smoke was once again curling from the chimney. The old woman was sitting on a wooden stool, grinding herbs in a stone bowl. She didn't look up when Lamy arrived back. "So soon, child," the old woman said, her voice raspy. "I warned you that your first wish would bring trouble. What do you want now?" "I want King Obi to love me," Lamy said. The old woman chuckled darkly and finally looked up. "Love cannot be forced, child, not without a price." "I don't care about the price," Lamy snapped. "I'm willing to pay anything." The old woman narrowed her eyes. "Anything you say, even your womb." "Lamy froze my womb?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Yes," the old woman said, "to make the king love you, I will need a powerful sacrifice you will never bear. Children, if you agree, the charm will work. If you hesitate, leave now." Lamb's heart pounded. She had always dreamed of being a mother, but the desire to be queen burned hotter. She imagined herself wearing a crown, sitting beside King Obi, with everyone bowing to her. "I agree," Lamy said at last. Her voice was firm, though her hands trembled. The old woman grinned, revealing her yellow teeth. She reached for a black pot and began mixing herbs, powders, and strange liquids. The room filled with thick, bitter smell. "Take this charm," the old woman said, handing Lamy a small vial of red liquid. "Cook a meal for the king and pour this into it. When he eats, his heart will belong to you forever. But remember, your womb now belongs to me." Lamy nodded and took the vial as she walked back to the village. Her mind swirled with excitement and fear. When she returned to the palace, Lamy asked the servants for permission to cook a special meal for the king. He has Been so sad, she said sweetly. You want to cheer him up. The servants who trusted Lamy as a close friend of the king agreed. Lamy prepared a delicious stew and secretly added the charm when Obi sat down to eat. Lamy served him. Herself, "This is for you, my king," she said, her voice soft. "I hope it brings you peace." Obi ate the meal without hesitation. The charm worked quickly. By the time he finished, his eyes softened. As he looked at Lamy for the first time, he smiled at her. "Lamy," Obi said, his voice warm. "I never realized how much I appreciate you. You've been by my side through everything." Lamy's heart leapt. "I'll always be here for you," she said, masking her triumph with a modest smile. Within days, Obi announced that he and Lamy would marry. The palace erupted in whispers. The villagers were shocked. How could the king marry Ada's best friend? So soon after her disappearance, even Ada's parents were devastated. How could this happen? Ada's mother cried. "Lamy was like a daughter to us. How can she replace our Ada?" But no one dared question the king. The villagers had no proof of wrongdoing and they feared punishment. Lamy now, Queen Lamy, walked through the palace with pride. She wore the finest robes and jewels, and King Obi showered her with love. But deep in her heart, Lamy felt a shadow. She had everything she wanted, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching her. By the river, the golden fish swam in circles, its eyes glowing with quiet determination. The river was calm that morning, its surface shimmering under the golden light of the rising sun. And a poor widow carried her clay pot on her head as she walked to the water's edge. Life had been a constant struggle for her since her husband's passing, and feeding her only daughter Cassie often felt like an impossible task. But Na kept her faith alive, always praying that someday things would get better. As she bent down to scoop water from the river, she muttered softly, "God, please provide for us. Even just one blessing will change everything." She filled her pot, placed it carefully on her head, and began the slow walk back to their tiny home on the edge of the village. When she arrived home, Nac set the pot down carefully on a wooden stool and prepared to pour the water into a large basin. Butas, she tipped the pot. Her eyes widened in shock. A golden fish slid out of the water and flopped gently on the edge of the basin. Its scales sparkled like sunlight, and it looked unlike anything Na had ever seen before. She froze, staring in disbelief. "Is this real?" Na whispered. To herself, she leaned closer. Her heart pounding, she recognized the fish. It was the legendary golden fish, a creature said to appear only once every 10 years. It was rare and highly valuable, something that merchants and wealthy men would pay a fortune. To own this could change everything. Na said, her voice trembling with excitement. "If I sell this fish, Cassie, and I will never have to struggle again. God has truly answered my prayers." Just then, Ci walked into the small room carrying a bundle of firewood. She was a bright and curious girl with wide, innocent eyes. "Mama, what's wrong?" she asked when she saw her mother's stunned expression. Na pointed to the fish. "Katie, I look." Kay dropped the firewood and ran to her mother's side. Her jaw dropped when she saw the golden fish wriggling in the basin. "Mama's that what I think it is?" "Yes, my child," Alaa said, her voice trembling. "It's the golden fish, the one we've heard about in stories. If we sell it, we'll become rich. No more hunger, no more struggles." Casey's face lit up with excitement. "Mama, this is amazing. We can finally leave this little hut and live in a big house. We can buy good food, fine clothes, and maybe even a cow or two." Enile smiled at her daughter's joy, her own heart filled with hope. She gently lifted the fish and placed it in a large clay bowl filled with water to keep it alive. "I'll take it to the market tomorrow," she said. "The merchants will bid over this fish and we'll get the best price tonight. We'll eat well and celebrate." Casey clapped. her hands in excitement. "Oh, Mama, we're finally going to be happy." But as the hours passed, Casey found herself staring at the fish, a strange feeling creeping into her heart. The fish seemed different from any animal she had ever seen. It didn't thrash or struggle like a regular fish.